Welcome to this week's podcast for the Church of Business and Finance. I'm Richard Cooper.
And I'm Joanna Kirshner.
And we'll be talking to you today about the losses and the sad, the ugly part of being an investor. And make no mistake. I don't care if you don't invest any money in the stock market at all. You are investing every day. You invest your time, you invest your effort, and all these investments have the downside. They have the possibility of not working out. It's the idea, though, that you're falling down a lot of times, but you're getting up that one time more. Except with investing, and whether this is investing your time, your money, your resources, your ideas, or just little minor things. Maybe you're investing like the cars or your car to somebody so that they can use it for something else, or maybe something that you're letting somebody borrow so that they can be able to use it for something for their own effort. You have the opportunity, the risk to lose, and you could lose, and you're probably going to lose. And a lot of stuff that we lose throughout the day, we don't even think about it. We think about the time that we spend throughout our day, and we say to ourselves, I spent today well, but how much of your time did you lose that you're not getting back, that you didn't get anything for? And then you start to realize, well, you know what? It's actually only a few moments throughout the day that there were really good decisions I had to make that were going to profit me in some way in the future. Most of it goes to, to loss. But what we learn to do as we get older and with wisdom, we learn how to minimize those losses so that when we see something that's not working out for us, or maybe is taking too much of a loss for us, we learn to cut our loss real fast. I mean, some of us, it takes us a little bit longer than others. Some of us, don't seem to learn at all. But if you want to have a prosperous life where you're growing more than you're losing, then you have to start to realize and understand that balance and how you want that balance to be adjusted and how you can adjust that balance. And that can just be done with basic education and learning. There's a wisdom factor to this. It's something that you can't just read in a book. Recently we saw a lot of people losing money in the stock market because there was a small turn in the overall sentiment.
Because they were selling. You only lose when you sell. If you hold on to that asset, you can wait for the market to swing back, and then you can either break even or wait to get profits. But in the stock market, you only lose when you sell.
Yeah, but sometimes losing is a good thing, though. And you have to learn when to cut your losses and understand what your risk is. If you have money that you're putting into, let's say, an investment for, let's say, a stock, because this is, the stock market actually represents a very tangible way of looking at your investments. Because, as I've said, most of the investments that we make every day are very abstract. It's the time that we have. We don't really think about it. There's nobody sitting down really at the end of the day. I mean, some people are. But in general, nobody's sitting down and saying, how many minutes today were profitable? How many of my minutes were, unprofitable? I don't do that.
Or like investing into your health. Because like if you are hungry and you grab a bag of chips, is that a good investment? Or are you going to be hungry still afterwards? So you have to think about your health as a good investment. Everything that you eat or drink is an investment into your health.
And it's not just to say when you spend money, it's something that you've invested and lost, because you do lose it. But are you getting something back? You have to define what your idea of losing is. You have to define for yourself what your idea of winning is, and what your idea of taking a risk that's good for you is. And we're going to get into the next time. We'll start talking about really understanding what kind of risks we should be willing to take and what kind of risks are good risks, which ones are bad risks. But today, we're going to start to get into that by talking about understanding that we have losses that we're going to take, and how to minimize those things. Just how to minimize our losses, and that's going to start with us deciding what are we losing. So, like I said, we're going to take a stock for example. Let's say you want to invest in a stock. All right, if you're investing in that stock and you need that $100. All right, you need that $100 to be able to, pay your rent, your mortgage, to pay a bill. That you need it by the end of this week. All right. When you put that money into this stock, you are risking a loss of that, and you're not going to be able to guarantee. There is no 100% investment guarantee that $100 is going to be back. If you need $100, if $100 is what you need, then why are you risking it? You have to think about these things. What do you need? Because if you need to breathe, like every day you need to breathe, all right? You're not saying, you know what, maybe I just won't breathe for a little bit and it'll be okay. No, you're risking it. I mean, unless you're holding your breath because somebody's betting you that, you can't hold your breath or
Or you're
something.
wearing 3 face masks
Yeah, or that's good. That's a good thing,
and a shield.
Or maybe you swim. Maybe these things are all reasons why you would want to have to hold your breath. But you
Or
don't think
meditation.
about it, why you're holding your breath that often, you know?
Mm.
But when you do hold your breath, you're taking a risk because your body needs air. But you're not going to risk something in a way that you're not going to be able to get it back if you need it. So if you have $100 and investing, like I said, in a stock, think about that investment as, a possible loss. All right, we'll get into like how much you could lose on that later, but it's a possible loss. So if you're investing something, you're realizing that you're going to have to take that risk. So, like I said, we're thinking about minimizing our losses. So you have to decide how much are you willing to lose on what you're doing. Some days I spend my whole day doing nothing. I maybe I watch some movies or something. I generally even if I'm going to watch a movie, I try to sit there and like decide who's the director, figure out what kind of lenses they're using, read the actors, try to understand the story. Hopefully I'm going to learn something from the story, even if I just get good feelings because it's an old movie that I saw before. It gives you that
Nostalgia.
nostalgia thing. That might be why I'm trying to do it. Then at least I'm getting something out of it. But there are days when I feel like I do nothing. It has nothing at all to do with anything.
But
And I lose those
I
days.
feel like we need those days to like kind of consolidate and like regroup and kind of like just absorb everything that we've been learning or doing. So like if we're doing a project and we're like really intent on like doing it, and then the next day we kind of take a step back to like let everything sink in. And I think those days are important, and it's not just like doing nothing.
Yeah, you're going to need the days to rest or to consolidate or to pull back. All these things are there and part of a regular market, but you still have to understand how much we're losing. You have to be cognizant of what you're losing.
Yeah, if you're like on
You
a
know?
deadline, then
Then
you
you think
lose
about
time.
let's say you have this stock though, and you put in this $100. You have to decide from the get go how many dollars are you willing to lose. Because if you're not willing to lose any of those dollars, as soon as it drops below 100, you're out. You're out that $100, and you're out, or at least you're out of your total $100. So you're already having to figure out how to cover up your loss. That's part of investing, is that realizing that there's going to be losses that you're going to take, but you have to understand when is it acceptable. When does it become something that's too much to lose? If I saw $100 and I said, you know what, I'm not willing to lose more than 10% of this. I need to have $90, but I'm willing to risk the total of the 100, which is really only risking the 10. Because in this case, I'm only risking the $10. All right, think about this. If you have a stock that I buy for $100, or rather, there's this stock that gets bought for $100, and somebody says, okay, well, I don't want to lose more than $10 because I need to have 90. Well, then they didn't need the 100, they needed the 90, which means they're only risking the 10. So they're risking 10. What are they risking to get with that $10? All right, we'll talk about that next time. But think about this with everything that you're doing, with your work. Are you going to a job where you're having to put in, 20 years of your life, 30 years of your life to possibly get something? Are you getting something now, and that's that risk that you're having? Maybe you're having to put your body under a lot of stress, and it's not healthy. Is it worth it? Are you going to a school where you think that most of the time that you're there, you're not really learning anything? All these things, all right, are part of the losses that you have to think about. Are they good for you? Like I said, next time we're going to talk about that. Is something a good risk or a bad risk? But just wanted to get into it today is that you're going to be losing anyway. Why not?
You got to think of the trade-offs.
Yeah. But why not think about how much you're willing to lose? All right. So we'll get into that next time. Think about, and maybe put down in the comments or talk to us next time about it. And we'll start doing some live streams too. All right. So we can get a little bit more interaction with everybody. But think about, what are you willing to lose? What are you willing to risk? All right. Catch you next time.
Peace. Stay safe.